ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Orange County Championship Wrestling's flagship show, the Royal Ramble, here on the Free Admission Channel. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit different panel today, as the team of Thunder and Lightning have both fallen under the weather. Something I'm sure their trip to Tijuana may have come back with them. In any case, I wish them both the best, and I hope those penicillin shots do take effect. To my left, you may recognize him on the Gym Crashers podcast. You may also recognize him as being at every MMA or indie wrestling show in the Southern California, Central California area. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Adam Woods.
Adam
Woods. Sorry.
Hey,
I'm looking up there,
man.
And to my right, you may also recognize him as one half of the dynamic duo that runs and promotes Orange County Championship Wrestling's ally in the independent wrestling wars here in Southern California. He is RJ Wallace.
You got my name right. What is?
I know. I always say JR, but this time I know I've known him well enough, and I'd like to take a moment before we start, gentlemen, and to all our viewers out there, to just say this. This last Tuesday, not today, but last Tuesday, about 6 p.m., wrestling took a giant step forward by taking a few steps back. To which I say, with these words, from a punchline to a headline. And with those 6 words, Nick Aldis helped the clouds that all but obscured the once proud image of the NWA. Gone is the shameful tarnishing of the famous trashing by Shane Douglas's disrespect. A flickering memory of the mockery that the WWF made of the Rock and Roll Express and the Road Warriors. No more a sideshow, now a really big shoe. Congratulations to Mr. Corrigan, to Jim Cornette, to Nick Aldis, and to all those who saw fit to resurrect the legend that is once again the National Wrestling Alliance. And with that show, we're talking about NWA Power that debuted last Tuesday on YouTube. To last count, I heard was 350,000 viewers or something like that. Guys like me who've loved wrestling their whole life, guys like Jim Cornette who've loved wrestling their whole life but have come to hate wrestling in the last several years because they love it so much, found validation and was probably, in my opinion, you've got your WWE Raw and SmackDown, you have even your AEW shows, Ring of Honor, MLW, but in my opinion, and from what I've seen, probably the most enjoyable wrestling program on television. Gentlemen, I wanted to get your thoughts on it, and we'll start with you, RJ. Did you get a chance to see any of the Power?
Yeah, I tuned in. I was interested by what I saw. Like, I saw like little clips and previews like on Twitter and stuff. So I was like, all right, let me check out NWA Power, because I didn't know what wrestling was on Tuesdays. They had just announced AEW Dark, and I was like, okay. But NWA Power was like 10 out of 10 from start to finish.
I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah. Like, as a person who wasn't alive in that era and, only watched clips, of Flair and, all the other greats, from promos and stuff, you saw what it was and was like, man, that must have been cool to see, live and in color, back then. And to see it now where it has that old school feel of wrestling in the studio and, no entrance music, no entrances. It's just strictly the wrestlers in the ring, the announcers, and that's all you need. It's kind of refreshing, and they're trying to put a new feel on it. With all these guys that you've seen, in TNA and Ring of Honor and all these stuff, and kind of resurrecting their careers, and resurrecting NWA at the same time, and it's all good stuff. Like, it was really good.
Yeah, in Nick Aldis, I see Nick Aldis, and he's like this mashup between Nick Bockwinkel and Ric Flair and some of the new wrestlers of today. He is so well-spoken, so technically adept in the ring, and just such a pleasure to watch. Jim Cornette said, hey, we have grown men wrestling in that ring. And, I know you're a big fan, just like me, of the throwback. Not to say we're living in the past, but you remember what was good. Adam, your take on Power.
Power. 1R, folks. That was just the kind of the presentation, right? But no, I loved it. And here's why. I think the NWA, whether it be this kind of like hipster kind of throwback, wanting to see what was old and good. And then Billy Corgan kind of being in disarray with like Dixie Carter. He'd run his own promotion in Chicago, and he basically ended up buying the NWA, the intellectual property of the NWA, and got all the right people. Jim Cornette, Dave Marquez, who's been doing studio wrestling for the last 15 years,
glorified studio wrestling, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Going way back into Pro Wrestling Society X, that's launched the careers of a lot of the top stars of the WWE today, lest we forget. But yeah, I think right place, right time. All this is without a contract of one of the big promotions, and I think he wouldn't be a great fit in one of the bigger promotions because he's a wrestler, not a sports entertainer, and I think he's perfect for that role.
Nick Aldis?
Absolutely.
And when he talks, you listen.
Absolutely.
He does talk. I mean, he has a strength behind his voice when he's delivering his promos, and the way he introduced NWA Power, talked about the people in the back, talked about the Storms, talked about all these great people, all these great wrestlers, and you were like, yeah. Some of these people I had no idea who he was talking about, but by the time I saw them, I was like, man, this is really something special, and this is the type of wrestling that made me like wrestling, right? And made me a fan for life. And over the last, I want to say 15 years, I have not been a fan of big time wrestling because it was so sanitized and so convoluted that it was an insult to my intelligence.
You mean the Sheik running Cobo Hall back in the day, the big time wrestling? I mean, never mind. But
and you know what? Don't ever call me old.
No, not at all. You're 27 in my eyes, right?
Yes, 27.
Honey, have you made that optometrist check? Anyway,
this guy.
But no, I mean, honestly, it's not just Power. Leading up to it, the last year, we've basically been introduced to the new presentation of the NWA via the 10 Pounds of Gold series on that same NWA YouTube channel.
Right.
And we've held the stories of a Tim Storm, of a Josephus, of a Nick Aldis, and it's raised the prestige. And not to say that it ever needed prestige raised, because the likes of the Funk Brothers, Harley Race,
No,
Jack
but
Briscoe.
let's be honest. Let's say when you said NWA to anybody in your family, what did they think? Straight out of Compton, crazy, right?
Well, I mean, my grandpa knew what NWA was.
All right, but besides your grandpa, but I mentioned NWA to anybody.
Anybody else.
Yeah, and then they're all straight out of Compton. I'm like, okay, now the NWA has a chance to be bigger than NWA.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And he was talking about like raising the prestige of the NWA World Championship. I mean, some would say it kind of lost its prestige when it was the main title in TNA for a while in that run, and you had people were saying AJ Styles buried the championship and Jeff Jarrett holding the championship buried it. So and then after they kind of, that deal kind of fell through, it was kind of just like, well, what do we do with the NWA championship? What does NWA as a company do? So they spent a couple of years kind of,
as a sideshow.
Yeah, as a sideshow.
Absolutely.
People thought it was a joke, and you're bringing these old guys like Tim Storm and the Rock and Roll Express on, and they were working the bingo halls, and it was like, they're still trying to do the old timey wrestling, and people weren't taking it seriously because WWE is in its heyday. You got John Cena, you had these big stars and big names that people would rather see other than a rehashing or a reboot of this old school wrestling that nobody.
Or life support. Watching someone on life support is basically what it was. Yeah.
It's like, we don't even want to watch Ric Flair wrestle in TNA. Why do we want to watch this? So it's really refreshing to see what NWA is doing now, and I am totally 100% interested in what NWA is doing. It's so cool.
It is cool, and it's cool in the way your grandpa is cool. You know what I mean? It's cool in the way his car is cool, right?
Absolutely.
It's cool in the way his radio is cool.
Yeah.
And you know what? And you can say, well, yeah, it's old and it doesn't have the pomp and circumstance. But let's be honest, man. The reason why we watch wrestling is to see what happens in that ring, and the NWA and everything around it, from the promos to the interviews to the run-ins and I doubt we'll see too many backstage vignettes on Power. You know what I mean?
Almost none. And then also the presentation of the belts. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously you've got the big dome globe at the 10 pounds of gold, but you also have the national title that looks, I mean, almost a direct facsimile of what. I mean, the original Sheik used, you know, when he headlined Cobo Hall in Detroit.
You know, I'm not that old, so you know, you're gonna have to I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
There's Geritol that I'm taking right now, so sorry, folks.
Hey, and Blue Chew, if you're watching, we have a perfect spokesman for you.
It is.
All right.
Hey, Bruce Pritchard, eat your heart out.
We're going to talk about Bruce Pritchard in a little bit, okay? All right. All right. Moving right along. We don't want to, you know, sound like a bunch of nut riders for NWA, but I have a feeling that's kind of going to be the way things are going around here. Yeah, right. Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's go to AEW. They ran their second show on Is it TBS or TNT?
TNT.
TNT. I wanted to get your opinions on it. Let me start by saying mine. There's a couple of things that you can clearly see the difference between their production and WWE now. Like, for instance, you'll see botches in the matches. Now, these guys are great wrestlers, and I'm not saying that, you know, any wrestling match would be botch-free. The interesting thing I've noticed that when there's a botch, I think the production value of WWE is so much better that they'll know to go to a shot to the crowd or they'll shoot to something else, right? When someone messes something up, because they have wrestling people in their truck saying, "Hey, no, like, go to this, go to camera 7," right? Whereas in AEW, when someone botches, you have television people or, you know, videographers, not necessarily wrestling people who don't recognize a botch when they see it. Mm-hmm. So you'll see more botches on AEW. I'm sure that's something that they'll get over. But for me, it kind of adds a little flavor to the to the meal. Yeah, I think so. What do you think?
Yeah, and you know, with the botches, I mean, a lot of these guys aren't used to wrestling in a 20x20. Like, if you really think about it, like, yeah, like these guys are coming from
indie circuit,
the indie circuits, you know. So, I mean, I've never really been in a ring, but I mean, I guess I have been, but like, I've never wrestled in a ring,
right?
So, like, I don't know how you would adjust from going to a 16x16,
take an extra step,
to taking an extra step, like,
and that throws your timing off and everything.
Yeah. So like guys like Jericho or like the Young Bucks, even, and Cody, who have experience in those type of rings, you know, can keep it crisp and clean. But like Sammy Guevara or, you know, like Orange Cassidy or these guys, like even Private Party, like they, you know, they're used to having the smaller space to do what they're doing. When it's a bigger space and they're doing these high flying moves and all this stuff, they're just like, oh, well, dang, now I have to jump a little bit farther, or, you know,
what's the dude from Private Party that jumped 4 times out of the ring? That guy was amazing.
Markel, I think.
Isn't it another Cassidy? He calls himself Cassidy.
Mark Cassidy or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm not.
That team is really good.
I'm not a fan. He looks like King Koopa with tails. Bloody hell.
Okay, let's get your take on that, because I know you're less than enthused.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't get Private Party, and especially in the sense where WWE is running in their NXT brand. The
Street Profits.
Street Profits. I wanted to call them primetime players, but that's another urban tag team.
Urban? You mean black?
Okay,
urban, because black people don't live in the suburbs. You guys are perfect examples of black people who live in the suburbs. Jesus Christ.
Way to Park is really rough, okay?
Okay.
Inglewood?
Yeah, you
smells of patchouli right now.
You know?
Like urban juggernaut?
No, it's
Don't
not like...
get me killed, Robert. Damn it. He knows where I live.
Oh yeah, like he's gonna do anything. Yeah. All right, he might put you down on social media and really just pat himself on the back.
I mean, we're still friends.
Huh?
Kiss Fizz.
I don't know what that means.
Kayfabe.
Carney.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Kiss Fizz.
All right, whatever. Anyway, so go ahead, finish your thought so we can move on.
I don't get Private Party at all. Don't understand it. They're poor man's Street Profits. And that team, that dynamic of team. Now, mind you, my archetype of a great tag team is the Hart Foundation. You got a power guy and a high flyer or a technical guy, right? And that's kind of my archetype.
And a perfect cure for insomnia. Go on.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Call the Hart Foundation
boring.
Anywho, With that being said, that is my archetype, right? So, and you had it in various incarnations. One would say a modern day version of it was LAX in Impact Wrestling, right?
Yes.
But I don't get Private Party. I don't get their presentation. I've seen it done before, and I've seen it better before. I just can't get behind it. And maybe it's just that one guy with the tails and the King Koopa hair that was standing. Fuck that shit.
Well, I got to say that they're fantastic in the ring. Their match was incredible. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Young Bucks. Not that I don't think they're good. I just that their matches don't do much for me. That match had me popping like a 12-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Blue Chew.
What?
Blue Chew. Blue Chew.
All right. Whatever that means. Okay. Now I do have a legitimate gripe, and this may not mean much to you or to you because you guys are you're younger, right?
I'm old.
I'm watching a match. They say we're going to cut to commercial, right? And we'll join this match in progress. We're going to let them run. What happens? They cut to commercial, and what is the first commercial you see? It is a commercial for AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, and it's like a minute long, and it's a commercial for the show that you're watching. And then they go to the regular commercials for whatever Valtrex and all that nonsense, and then they come back. But first, another commercial about AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, and then they come back. I'm like, what the hell is that? That is some lame shit. That is some WWE level screwing up. You want to chase people away? And remember, NXT is on that other channel. Is that on at the same time? Yeah, all right, if I'm going to be watching a match and I'm going to be seeing this, I'm going to go, well, they're not doing that on NXT. You guys think about that. That's a huge mistake. That is, talk to me.
I agree. Okay, so there's levels to that.
I'm watching your show.
Right. So, I mean, the WWE is guilty of that. Every time you're watching a pay-per-view and you've paid that $9.99 a month, they're like, hey,
watch Raw tomorrow.
Yeah, watch Raw tomorrow. And not only that, but guess what? Just sign up
to the network.
To the network, and you get it free.
Network. But that's because sometimes people have parties and other people that attend the parties don't.
Fair enough, but okay.
How many of us have watched not a pay-per-view, but a network special? Have we? How many of us have in the last, I don't know, since the inception of the network, gone around and been to a party to watch said thing?
A couple,
yeah, all the time, especially WrestleMania. Okay. Everybody gets together to watch WrestleMania. It's like the Super Bowl.
Three, 4 times a year?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many people do you think are actually converted to network subscribers from said party that aren't normally wrestling fans?
Oh, it's advertisement. Maybe 1 out of every 1,000, but that's a lot. You know? Think about that. That's 1 out of every 1,000 people. My problem is I'm watching your show.
Right.
I'm watching your show. I'm watching the show you're telling me to watch. I'm trying to watch the match, and you're busy telling me to watch the show. It's like your dad throwing trash at you because you're not taking out the trash. It's like,
perfect analogy.
Oh my God! It's, you know what? That's a huge mistake. And if you guys want to, I don't want to say win this Wednesday night war, but if you guys want to continue your success, stupid shit like that is something that you need to address and take care of, because that is frustrating to no end, right?
Well, I think both companies are kind of going through this period of where they realize that this is a war. Well, with the exception of NXT, but like even with this whole SmackDown on Fox thing, that's everywhere on Fox. Like,
yes,
you watch Fox News in the morning and they're talking about it. You watch the NFL Sunday morning show. Yeah. They have to throw in like 3 SmackDown promotions or like,
which is fine.
Yeah, even like. So, I mean, I can see where it's like the over promotion, but yeah, during the show, you don't really need it. Like, I'm just like,
I'm watching your show. Yeah. I'm watching your show.
That was the problem with Nitro back in the day, where they would show Nitro commercials and then they'd show you, watch Thunder on Wednesdays too.
Yeah, well,
it's like, okay, well,
even if it were that, watch this other show, but you're cutting away from a match,
right?
To tell us about watching wrestling matches on TV. It's like it's asinine.
Well, you brought up the great point in terms of production, in terms of them showing botches or whatever, whether that be intentional or not. To you, it brought a little bit of
flavor.
Right, absolutely. So with that being said, and we've heard similar kind of comparisons with like New Japan, right? New Japan, when the Japanese crew are filming it, things like the V-trigger, it's got a certain appeal. Okada, when he does his Okada pose, it has a certain appeal.
It's the greatest thing ever on television.
Right, absolutely. But when they do it here, at the Long Beach shows, when you have non-Japanese crews and what have you, you don't get that same appeal. So how much of like AEW's current presentation botches is because there are people
that are not wrestling people.
Right, absolutely. And but here's the thing. So Vince has forever and a day tried to
Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
As he's literally getting Kimura by his jacket here.
Right? It's hot in here.
Yeah.
Someone turn on the AC. No, that's like 89 cents an hour. Don't turn it on.
There you go. But
you.
I mean, with that all being said, I mean,
I don't.
we
Just
want,
leave the door open.
we want people from non-wrestling to come into wrestling, but here's the catch-22 where they don't know what they're doing, right? And there's one instance with going back to NWA Power where there's at least 3 people, and Jim Cornette on his recent podcast have raved about it. There's actually 3 people that are still there from the original TV taping, right? That are still there.
What was it called? Something Studios.
TBS Studios.
No, it was called something else. It was something Wood Studios, not Pinewood Studios, but it was called something, and it was
in Georgia. Somewhere. Yeah. But so how many? So anyway, Beckerwood. No, never mind. Anyway, but how many people from the old TNT that used to shoot Nitro are there, right? How many wrestling people? Just because you're on a major network doesn't necessarily mean those people know how to shoot wrestling, right?
That's right.
So is it? I mean, how many more people are there out there that aren't signed to the WWE that know how to shoot wrestling?
Probably not many. And you know what? Because there's only been for the last almost 20 years one wrestling company that's been shooting TV, you know, regularly. That said, let's take a minute to address all our viewers that are watching out there. Robert, can you put on the Purge graphic for me? Well, let me give a shout out to Jessica Sky Landau, who's watching at home. She is our #1 viewing fan. She's there every week, and hi Jessica, Fancy Nancy. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate your support. I want to give a shout out to Cynthia Navia. It's hot. Take it off. I know. I did. Thank you. Want to give a shout out to Joey the Bull, who is celebrating his
birthday anniversary.
No, his birthday anniversary.
Happy late birthday, sir.
So Laheim.
We call it the girth day.
Yes. Happy girthday,
Happy
Matt,
girthday.
and
They were slinging mud at each other the last birthday I saw.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Mike Garola's watching. Joe Gonzalez from D6W's watching. Fred Gabriel.
He watches your show?
Of course he watches our
He
show.
doesn't watch our show.
Do you invite him to watch your show?
No.
Well, there you go.
Oh.
All right. John Clark is watching. And that brings us to our next topic. Saturday, October 26th, at American Legion Post 716, we will be conducting our 3rd annual Halloween Purging. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the 3rd annual Halloween Purging. Orange County Championship Wrestling's Halloween show, where there are no rules and there is nowhere to hide. You will see the culmination of Lucha Pro's, what would you call it? Infestation of OCCW, as Team Lucha Pro will take on Team OCCW in a 5-man elimination style match. Reticent of the
Survivor Series.
Thank you, Survivor Series, right? Where each man will be eliminated, and the last pinfall will determine who retains the Orange County Championship Wrestling Championship. You'll see Vintage Dragon and his team of thugs on one side. You'll see Gustin Uberstud and the OCCW stalwarts on the other side. Mikey O'Shea, Thunder and Lightning. Gustin Uberstud and Joey Barone, our newcomer, will be taking on Vito Pepperoni, or Vito Fratelli. La Raza, the Judas and Benedict Arnold of OCCW and Lucha Pro, and a mystery 5th guy. So don't miss that. You're going to see now. Typically, Halloween wrestling shows are very dicey in the independent circuit. You'll get anything from stupid costumes on the wrestlers to nothing but death matches, right? If you haven't seen the Halloween Purging, you're in for something wholly different from your typical Halloween show in the indie
Are there any
circuit.
casket matches at this show?
There are no casket matches because caskets are expensive. We do have a few trash bags that can double as body bags, however. All right.
Okay.
And this isn't the Paris Hilton diet, right? The Halloween purging.
Oh.
Oh, I like that. That's funny. That's funny. That's pretty good. You'll see Bulletproof, legendary tough guy from Moore Park, taking on, the meanest honey badger that the OCCW has to offer in Freddie Helmuth, right? They will be taking on.
With a honey badger?
Well, he's kind of a honey badger. You can beat him. He hasn't no real predators.
Well, the other gentleman is from Moore Park. I thought you were going to say announce Helmuth from some park or South Park
Or like
or
Hey,
have a friend named Eddie Park. It's an Asian joke.
Okay. Do you know what Moore Park spelled backwards is? All right. We'll get back to that.
That's an Inglewood High School education.
You will see for the first time of the inaugural
room. Got it. All right.
Okay.
We're here.
the
Red Rum, what?
Orange County, the inaugural match for the Orange County Championship Wrestling American Legion title. You will see Freddie Havoc, what I call the Dusty Rhodes of OCCW. He will be taking on Luis Tap Out Tapia.
That's profound.
What?
He's the Dusty Rhodes of
Oh yeah, just a common man.
I just imagine Freddie Havoc in fucking polka dots. Why'd you do that?
He better be wearing polka
With
dots
sapphire.
now. If there's anybody doing a costume, it's better be
Sorry,
Freddie
Freddie,
Havoc.
I love you, brother, but
And he better come out to the song too.
Ladies,
man.
Thunder and Lightning, are you watching? Get out of bed and get your asses in here because I'm about to fill the studio with left hooks, and these guys are bound to run into a couple of them.
Oh, damn it.
Oh my
Are
God.
they in bed together? You said they were convalescing.
The OCCW Legion title, a match between Freddie Havoc. He will be taking on Lou Tap Out Tapia, for the OCCW American Legion title. Do not miss it. That match will not be conducted under purge rules. That will actually be the first match of the evening. All right, and that's going to be under traditional rules. So you'll see the Legion title won or lost under traditional rules. After that, we go to the purge.
So, is the OCCW faithful going to get glimpses of the American Legion title prior to the Halloween?
No.
Briefing? Oh, damn it.
So
I'm
we
a belt
can't
mark.
get
I kinda wanna see it.
You can't get like.
Well, then you have to buy a ticket and come to the show.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
We might be able to
buy
get
your
you one
tickets.
of
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right, that's it. We have the three-way women's dance of death, right? The last time you saw the women's what do they call triple threat match? You saw the first ever triple disqualification. These women were all very upset about how that match ended, and they all signed and wanted to come back. This time there are no rules. There will be nowhere to hide. You cannot just decide to beat on the referee and get taken away, right? You will have a winner in this three-way.
So
So it's more decisive than Hell in the Cell?
So there's one end like Hell in the Cell, right?
I don't know. I don't watch. Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah. From what I understand, you could actually see it when you're in the arena. You can actually see the match. So.
Oh, wow.
So it's nothing like Hell in the Cell.
All right.
All right. So in addition to our 10-man Dance of Doom, we have our OCCW Legion title. We have the women's three-way Dance of Death, right? We have Bulletproof versus Helmuth. And what may be the shocker of the evening, so make sure you don't miss that. Will there be more? Of course there will be more. You'll see the Purgers lurking around. Have you been to one of our Purge shows?
Oh, that's scary.
No. That's a question.
Oh, no.
I don't think
haven't
black
been.
people go purging because that's.
Yeah, I don't think we do that well.
I don't think we'd survive. I don't know why BA is doing this. I really do not know.
We're
why
owing
BA
like
is
300 and how?
Yeah, we don't.
How long has this country been in existence?
We don't We don't do these
2 years
horror
before that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I just got a question from one of our viewers. He asked, why did we move the show from post 555 to 716? And it's very simple. 555 had a booking problem. They had double booked the Legion post. So our friends at 716 were gracious enough to accept us on a short notice and move it and allow us to move it into their venue. So we want to give a shout out to the folks at 716, Woody, Irene, Fred, and of course my good friend Jim Eubanks. Thank you for accepting us. Thank you.
Yep, and shout out to the other people that are having the bar mitzvah at the other venue. So Lahaim.
I think it's a quinceañera, but I'm not sure.
Oh, even better.
Órale.
Órale.
Dice. All right.
Órale.
So once again, that is American Legion Post 716. October 26th, Saturday. Doors open at 5:30. Bell times at 6 p.m. for our third annual Halloween Purge. No rules, nowhere to hide. Tickets available with John Della O, Jonathan Malice, the OCCW Training Center. American Legion Post 716. Give me a call. We are here all day. Tickets are $15 pre-sale, $20 at the door. Don't you dare miss it. Okay, Robert, you have that match queued up. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take you to one of the a look back at some of the featured performers in the Purge. In their last match, we had Gusten Thunder Uberster. You guys are all familiar with him.
Yes.
All right, you familiar with them?
Yes, I am.
And one half of one half of La Raza in Freddie Flores. I don't know if his name is really Judas or Benedict Arnold, but he's one of those two.
Judas Arnold?
Judas Arnold, Benedict Junis.
Benedict.
Well, anyway, he brought his 30 pieces of silver, and he took it to the ring against Gusten Uberster. Do we have that ready to go, Rob? All right, as you can see, this is at post 716. A little bit shaky camera because our cameraman took a chair to the back of the head during the previous match. So you'll be able to see the match through his eyes. In that they may get blurry at times, you may see the ceiling a few times. Like I said, this is not a production quality video, but this is first-hand footage of what went down. You hear Joey the Bull in the background. And there's Vintage Dragon with his good friend. What belt is that, Adam Woods? You seem to know everything about belts, Mr. Beltmart. Okay. Why does anybody have cornrows? No, I'm just, why does anybody have the hair they have? Okay. Or lack thereof. Alopecia. All right, there you go.
Hey, I know the third grade.
So there you got Freddie Flores. Luther's, and his hair's looking good. You want to talk about asking someone about their hair? Ask Luther. All right, so there's Freddie Flores with what I assume is the D6W Tag Team Championship. One half of the D6W Tag Team Championship. Remember, this was a month ago. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, he's got someone's tag team. All right. Okay, and as I sure hope whoever got hit in the back of the head with that chair finds a seat and is able to steady this camera. As we have, of course, referring to John Arredondo of the Gym Crashers show and his propensity for wobbly camera work. Okay. There he is, Mr. Yummy Yummy himself, Gusten Thunder Uberster. The Lucha Pro Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, sporting the colors of the People's Republic of Germany, if that's indeed what it's still called. I know that's what Baron von Raschke used to call it. And it's still cold, though. It's still cold. Enjoy it. Uberstood, let me tell you something. Uberstood is not the toughest looking individual in the world, but I defy you to find someone who can take as much of a beating as him and dish out same. He has been with us for a little over a year now, and he has lit the local scene on fire. He won the title at Cage Match. He was robbed of the title by Vintage Dragon, and has subsequently been cheated out of every opportunity. Part of the blame lies on myself. I will admit that I didn't read the contracts thoroughly enough, or at least as thoroughly as Vintage Dragon did. He's able to dance around those loopholes and keep his title. But his best chance at getting revenge will be Saturday, October 26th at American Legion Post 716 at the Halloween Purge. Now, Yes, he has a secondary job as a security consultant for Titan Sports. Yeah. I don't know what Atlas Security is. You mean, what's his name, Ralphus? Yeah, that's what you said. He's left us. Okay, now, there's Luther. Looks as nervous as anyone in that ring because he knows that Vintage Dragon outside the ring is going to make his job a living hell. Now, you say what you want about referees. They have not only a tough job, but an unforgiving job in that when they get it right, no one remembers. When they get it wrong, no one forgets. And see, Flores is already laying claim to the titles, acting as though he's already won it, taunting Uberstude. He's telling him to give the title back. And then there's Vintage Dragon just instigating more conflict. It really is, huh? Somewhere there's an Iron Maiden truck with a seat cover missing.
Oh, now you want to do your job.
All right, going over the final check of the gear, making sure everything is legal and ready to go. And the bell rings and we are underway. You see them looking each other over. Freddie Flores not too eager to lock up with Boost Anderson. Yes, he's Puerto Rican. Yes. As opposed to a great soccer game that's exciting and fun to watch, yes.
No, none of that.
Houston undeterred by Freddie's power, overall size and strength wouldn't have to go to Freddie Flores, whereas technical ability and speed will go to Uberstude in that arm ringer.
Burgundy pants.
Front chancery, to a takedown, and a quick cover, a headlock, turns it over into a leg scissors. Eesh. Handstand. Luther's on it. Headlock cinched in by Flores. Trying to wear down the champion.
What is the Flores' trunks mean?
That's La Raza. That's Aztec symbolism. Hey, La Raza. What are you going to do? Remember his tag team partners, man. And look, there's the Puerto Rican part on the other side. So, are you going to dissect everybody's gear or just out the back door goes Uberstude and laying a spanking.
What is that technique?
And he's riding him like a government mule. And down goes Flores. A little mental games there. And Vintage Dragon is hot. He's on the outside. He doesn't like it. He feels his man is being disrespected. And, frankly, that's the way it goes. Flores is mad. Punched him in the butt and hurt his wrist. Buns of Steel, he's got those VHS tapes that he still watches on a daily basis. Arm drag by Gustin Uberstude. Misses with he telegraphed that lariat a little bit. Ooh. Fireman's carry. Down he goes. Into the corner goes Flores. Big clothesline from Uberstude. Oh no, he's thinking, I know what he's thinking. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm thinking he's thinking. And Freddie Flores, yanked out of the way by Vintage Dragon. Hey, you know what? Say what you want about Vintage Dragon. That is a smart move. if someone's going to be your manager, you want him to have your back at all times. And in this case, he bent the rules a little bit, but he didn't want his man to get that yummy face. Now that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Luther was right there. Oh, he just threw him out. Luther, you will respect my authority, Vintage Dragon. What? No, it's okay. Oh!
This is no main event.
He had something in his hand. Get him out. Get him out, Luther.
I'm your champion.
Right, well, he keeps it up with the line.
Is that the reference to his left arm or what?
No, it's right hand.
Oh. Hey.
I don't I noticed there's a lot of people wearing glasses in here. All right. 10 Bears is watching. Hey, 10 Bears. Good to see you're still doing good. Come by anytime. We'd love to have you. He went to the eyes of eye poke from Freddie Flores, a big elbow to the jaw. And apparently, our cameraman's got hit by a chair again. We're getting the post. Ooh, shoulder block to the midsection of Bruce Nuberstein. He really is. And he's really managed to slow the match down, take away some of the attributes of Ubersuit. Match is picking up here. Oh, big body slam from Freddie Flores. Goes to the ropes. He drop the elbow. Whoa! Right across the neck of Ubersuit. The 2 count. Yeah, quick kick out. And, the cameraman was there.
1, 2, 3.
Don't pick on Luther. I don't see you in stripes out there.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, watch the toe. You said 1, 2,
Yes.
3. I said watch the toe.
Supposed to be. You haven't seen my grade.
Hey, big chop! Oh, for Freddie Flores. You know what? You can see the handprint in the back, even though he chopped him in the chest. That was a big, heavy-handed mutton chop there. Oh, ducks the clothesline. Ducks the clothesline again. And we got a hip toss. Oh, Ubersuit. Oh, gets him with, what is that called? The death drop? RKO? RKO. The Uber cutter. There you go. I like that. I think we're going to call it that, the Uber cutter.
I think that might be
The super cutter? No. No, cheese, man.
it's a cheese man.
No, you're the cheese man. Yeah, that's some cheesy shit coming from you. Elbow, big forearm. Oh, right hand from Uberstu. Forearm from Flores. Oh, he's putting him in the ropes. Boom, he's giving him another one and another one. Oh, what's keeping Flores up? Another right hand. Uberstu's had enough. He's laying into him. Oh, he's giving him the boots. Putting the boots to him, as we say back home. Stopping him up. There you go. Now I think we're going to see what we all came to see from Bruce and Uberstu. It isn't tasty. It isn't goody. It isn't smarty. It is almost. Oh, ouch. Hey, that's going to leave a mark. Oh, that might be him. Count. 1, 2. Oh, and at the count of 2.5. My goodness.
Got the shoulder out.
Come on, Wilson, what do you got? Come on, get on the fight.
You know what? That's a tactical error right there. You're trying to win the title, not disgrace someone. And give him a chance to get back in the match. Oh, not keep giving him this far. Good not. This so fighting Freddie Flores from Philadelphia.
There's not too many F's. I read this one.
You gotta watch out. Hey, you know what? Don't hit that ceiling. I have a security deposit in place. Oh, and a big power bomb from Uberstude, who can barely hold himself up and goes down. It's enough to put a hole in the mat. I'm surprised the ring's holding up. This Vito Fratelli. You know what? And it never ceases. The Lucha Pro guys are constantly interfering. Oh, he gets a couple of size 13s to Vito Fratelli. You're out here, Vito Fratelli. That's right. Get off my show like the late Wally George. See you later. You're out of here. I'll tell you what. I'll give Luther credit. He is standing up for himself and not taking this sitting down. And of course, what? Ladies and gentlemen, the views and opinions of Adam Woods are the views and opinions of Adam Woods alone. They do not represent Orange County Championship Wrestling, the Free Admission Channel, or anyone else with a brain in their head. Oh! Kicked out at the 2.5 again. Goosen's got the presence of mind to stay in this fight and not give up.
Really getting behind
okay, that's Flores' tag team partner, Alexander Vega. Someone else trying to get involved in that. How many of these guys are there from Lucha Pro? You know, I know it's a long trip from South Central. I don't know why they decided to keep coming down here and messing with the works. The crowd is not happy. Yes. Drop kick from Uberstude. Oh, and here we go. Yummy, 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 yummy. I got some in my tummy. Oh, gee whiz. That's a mouthful of pain right there. Oh, the cover from Uberstude finally. 2. Oh! Oh, yeah, that was really close. If Luther's hand hit the mat, it was only because he couldn't stop it, because he did see that kick out. That was really close. Uberstude. You haven't seen a lot of velocity from people's hands? Is that what you're saying? All right, Uberstude. Standing tall. Taking control. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness! That was a ham hock from hell from Fighting Freddy Flores from Philadelphia. Oh, a sitting suplex. Oh no. Kick out once again. Heart of a lion from Gusten Uberstude. He will not be deterred. No, that's Emo Waldo, isn't it? Young fan Cody Simerson in the crowd. Oh! Or is it Cody Nguyen? Oh! That is the Uber Cutter 2. 3, and Gusten Uberstude gets the Duke, retains his title, and dispatches Lucha Pro from their own title. Hats off to you, Mr. Uberstude. Thank you, and good night. All right, that's not saying we're signing off. And yes, that was a fantastic match, you know, a well-fought contest between two highly motivated and definitely skilled grapplers. Well, I don't know if you guys were here, but what's next is October 26th at American Legion Post 716, the Halloween Purging. OCCW's best shot at getting back that OCCW title from the legendary Vintage Dragon. Like I said, when it comes down to the final pinfall, the winner of said match will be the OCCW Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. Tickets are $15. Pre-sale, $20 at the door. Do not miss it. This event will be full. You do not want to miss Lucha Pro's comeuppance. Oh, yes. They're all going to be indoors for a while. Sandwiches, yes,
Those are great.
all right, and we're back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw Gusten Uberstud victorious over Fighting Freddy Flores. We are up against the hour right now. I want to give a shout out to a few people here. Let's see who's watching. B.A. Marcus Frey is watching. Hey, B.A., nice to see you. Dean Barker, an old elementary school friend of mine. Good to see you, Dino. We can't wait to see you. Luther Dansby's watching. Nice work in that match, Luther. Good. We're gonna need you for the next one. Oscar Hernandez is watching. Hey, Oscar. Hope everything's going well for you. Let's see here. Vintage Dragon is watching. I hope you're watching Vintage because we've got plenty for you to see. Ryan Mattoon is watching. Hey, Ryan Mattoon. Good to hear from you. Let's see. Rachel Stanley is watching. Hey, babe. Yoga Star.
Oh, there it is.
See, there you go. What?
I was gonna
What?
Say, I was gonna
What?
say it.
What?
Yoga.
What? All right
That's
then.
yoga.
All right. All right. All right.
She's a talented yogi.
Yes,
I
thank
mean,
you.
the VA said in
What
the
is that supposed to
comments-
mean?
I don't know. I'm
All
not
right,
the average bear.
All right.
I'm not the average bear.
Yeah, what is that? What?
Yeah. Yogi.
Okay, we've come to the portion of our show known as topics, where we have 1 minute to discuss certain topics. Our illustrious panel here of R.J. Wallace and Adam Woods. I will deliver a topic. They have 1 minute to give me their opinion on said topic. Does anybody have a timer for me? No, I'm gonna have to use mine. All right, I'll use.
That's why I go over.
All right,
Like the
Mrs. Woods, would you be so kind? Okay, our first topic. Who wants the first topic?
We'll give it to this.
R.J. Wallace. Eric Bischoff fired
Oh shit.
from WWE. Fired from WWE. And go.
I will personally say, I didn't have high expectations for him. He gets hired by WWE and wanted to wait till WWE moved to Fox to even show up to work to run SmackDown. And, I had my reservations about him coming back. I was excited at first. I was like, oh, okay. He's got a great mind for the business. He can, but then again.
He's a jackass.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he probably let his ego get in the way of things, and good riddance. I mean, Bruce Pritchard, he can do some great things. I mean, he's shown it in the past. He's got a lot to work with on SmackDown with making Braun Strowman a believable monster again, and figuring out a way to get the WWE Championship off of Brock Lesnar for 3 months out of the year. So, good riddance. Eric Bischoff is fired from WWE. Will that mean he goes to AEW somewhere down the line? I hope not, but it probably will be because, ratings are everything in the business. And, what's a good nostalgia trip by having Eazy-E back with,
Time. Fantastic. Here's hoping he stays out of the wrestling business for good. Your opinion on Eric Bischoff being fired. Let me just say hi to Brian Chansey, one of a three-way tied for first place as our number one fan. Brian Chansey's already bought his tickets, and he's going to be at the Halloween Purging. So, back on topic. Eric Bischoff fired from WWE. Go.
So, Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff both got this pomp and circumstance press release of him coming back to wrestling. From what I hear, they had very different degrees of involvement. Paul Heyman had a hands-on role. Eric Bischoff, for what I heard, he was kind of hurting for money. This was kind of like a bone to throw. The only thing that I have against... Well, obviously, Bischoff isn't the wrestling mind. He's kind of ridden the wave. He was like a guy that had a jacket in the AWA that carried over to WCW. He's just kind of ridden this 30-year wave that is probably blood ties or whatever. But even still,
he's got dirt on somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. But even still, why make a big to-do about it if you're going to fire him. I mean, the guy moved from Cody, Wyoming to Stamford, Connecticut, uprooted his family to do this. And obviously, he wasn't, if it's an executive producer, he's not going to do well.
Fair enough. All right. Those are very, very, very good takes on it. I'm going to let you guys pick. All right. I'm going to give you one, and I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you the PWI 500. Are you familiar with the PWI 500?
That's the best 500 wrestlers of the year, right?
Right. Are you familiar with that it came out this week?
I know, wasn't like Seth Rollins number one?
I don't know.
Oh.
We'll save that topic for next week. All right. Our next topic, and I'm going to give this one to you, and I'm going to let you think about it for a minute, is the Rock and Roll Express. As many of you know, the Rock and Roll Express made its return to California wrestling at Bar Wrestling?
Bar Wrestling.
Bar Wrestling last weekend. Ricky and Robert, of course, always in fine form, and even at a advanced age, right? They were still true to form. Here to give his opinion on said match is Adam Woods.
Dude, here's the thing. Rock and Roll Express, they're going over. I mean, at 60, north of 60 years old, and the reigning NWA, tag team champions. I think it's awesome. Now, before Bar Wrestling, we saw Tiger Hattori, the legendary.
You only have 1 minute.
Legendary New Japan referee to retirement. Essentially, Ricky Morton hit a Canadian Destroyer. A Canadian Destroyer at 63 years of age is a feat like no other. You got to search that up in the interwebs. So, yeah, they're awesome. Rock and roll is awesome. Rock and roll all day. Even though they're the classic, Rock and Roll Classic Express. So, there's that. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Did I go under? I went under. Take it away, mister.
But we're going to wait for the minutes to run out.
Oh, shit. That's it. I went over and under. I feel like I jobbed out to Seth Rollins.
Oh.
Nothing.
Time. All right, very good. Let me just say this before we move on. When I watch the Young Bucks in AEW, I am moved to always remember the Rock and Roll Express. How they are very similar in their attire, in the way they wrestle. Clearly, their moves are a little bit further on the line, right? Further down the line. They draw the same sort of interest that the Rock and Roll Express did. As I was there back when the Rock and Roll Express were in their heyday, everybody wanted to see them wrestle the Road Warriors. Didn't happen until they went to WWF in what was a pathetic. You ever seen that match?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, it was just awful, and it made me sad for everyone involved. All right, your opinion on the Rock and Roll Express return to wrestling.
A whole different direction.
Good.
A whole different direction because, I'm 25 years old. So, growing up, my favorite tag team was the Hardy Boys. And Public Enemy for other reasons, but that's because...
Public Enemy. No.
Yeah. So, the Rock and Roll Express. From what I see now, two old guys. Sorry.
It's all right.
Coming back, having really good matches, but not all that interested in it. I get the mystique, and they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time, but no, I'm good, fam. Back in NWA, which is cool. They helped build it, but I'm more of the new generation of tag team wrestling, and I always hear the Young Bucks, the new Rock and Roll Express, don't see it. So yeah.
Why don't you see it? Tell me what.
Well, I've watched old Rock and Roll Express matches. And I'm not talking about their current ones. But I mean, I just don't see the similarities. I mean, besides the look, obviously, but their style of tag team wrestling was, different, but it wasn't progressive in their time. At least the Young Bucks kind of stood the test of time now and kind of changed the bar. As we see tag team wrestling now. When they came up to where they are now. And I never really saw the Rock and Roll Express do that. I've seen other tag teams in their era do that.
Like the Midnight Express and whatnot,
Midnight Express,
British Bulldogs, right. Yeah. Interesting. How much more time do you have to keep? And we are done. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You have two sides of the same coin. Here, the older guy absolutely adores the thought that the Rock and Roll Express is back. The younger guy is unimpressed, right? Me, I absolutely love everything 80s from wrestling, except for Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
So with that, we are going to wrap another episode of the Royal Ramble. We want to thank you all. We know you have all kinds of choices from which to spend your time watching, and we want to thank you for joining us. For my co-host, RJ Wallace, and my other co-host, Adam Woods.
Yeah, man.
I am Jonathan Malice. I want to wish you all a good evening and hoping all of your bumps happen in the ring.
Yes.
Yes.